There are many ways artists think about the head to help simplify it. Some like to start with the shape of an upside-down egg. An egg captures the round quality of the head, and you can start a drawing with something similar to this simple shape. I usually find this is a good start for female heads. The head can also be thought of like a block or a box. There's the front of the face, the two sides, the back of the head, the top of the head, and under the jaw. Thinking in corners can help you establish the head's location and space. The blocky egg kind of combines both of these ideas, combining the roundness of the egg shape with the blocky quality. You can also think of the head as a ball with a jaw. Often I'll start my drawings with this sort of shorthand. It does a good job of describing the roundness of the cranium and the angles of the face and jaw. Normally the ball with a jaw approach or the blocky egg approach is what I gravitate towards, but you can think of the head in many different ways. It will depend on what feels natural to you and also on the particular head you're drawing and what it leans towards. The goal of this is to get us thinking in 3D, so all the way around the head. This will help us draw a portrait with structure. In this class, we'll be talking about the adult head. The proportions of a baby or a child's head will be different as they're still growing. Overall, on a baby or a small child, the cranium will be bigger compared to their face. Andrew Loomis has really good diagrams if you'd like to go more in depth with that. But for now, let's go over the basic proportions you'll find on an adult in a straight-on front view. If you want to practice with me, grab a piece of paper and a pencil or draw along in Procreate. You can also use the practice worksheets provided in the class resources. Now the first step is going to be to draw a ball. If you're struggling with this, go ahead and practice drawing a ball over and over again. Eventually you'll train your hand to be used to the motion and it'll be more natural to you. It doesn't have to be a perfect one-line ball either. You can use many wrapping lines if you need to. After you've drawn your ball, add a jaw. Now this will vary from person to person, but on this first example we'll be drawing a male. So a male jaw will tend to be pretty angular. Draw two lines coming off the ball, going downward and slightly inward towards each other. Then draw two more lines turning even more inward and connect them with the line of the chin. Now we have the basic shape of the head, from the top of the skull to the bottom of the chin. Add a straight horizontal line across the top of the skull. And then add another straight horizontal line at the bottom of the chin. If you take this measurement top to bottom and split it in half, you'll get where about the eye line will land in a frontal, straight-on view. If the person is looking up or down, this will change. But when it comes to understanding the spatial proportions, without the effects of perspective, this is really useful to know. Now the face is bilaterally symmetrical, so let's add a vertical center line down the middle as we start to add on the features. We'll go much more in depth later, but try your best to draw two eye shapes on the eye line. You should be able to fit about another eye length in between and two more on either sides. Once you have the eyes placed, you'll usually be able to visually place the brows by observing your subject and the space between their eyelids and their brows. So I'll place the line here a bit above the eye line and then place the brows. I also go ahead and erase the bottom half of the circle. Now from the brow line to the bottom of the chin, if we split that measurement in half, we get about the placement of the root of the nose, or the bottom of the nose where the nose meets the face. So I put another horizontal line there and I add a nose shape. If you need a general guideline on the width of the nose, the inner corners of the eyes will usually line up with the edges of the wings of the nose. Now with this new measurement, from the brow line to the root of the nose, we can place the ears. Now going from the brow line upward, using that same measurement, add another line. This will represent the top of the forehead. Now we have the basic thirds of the face. Top of the forehead to brow line to root of the nose, and the root of the nose to the bottom of the chin. On a face, you'll find that these distances, when compared to each other, are more or less equal. Adding on the lips and chin, we can get another breakdown into thirds. If you break down the space from the root of the nose to the bottom of the chin into thirds, At the first third, you'll get about where the part of the lips will be. And at the second third, you'll get about where the chin plane begins to bump out. Now that the facial features are all in place, we can add a hairstyle. Keep in mind that the hair won't cling onto the top of the skull line directly. The hair will puff up a little higher on most hairstyles, and a lot on some. Let's add a neck so he isn't just a floating head. The neck will tend to be thicker on a male. And now you can erase your guidelines. So these are the basic proportions of the head. You can fall back on these ideas if ever your proportions are looking off. So now let's go over the female head. Again, you can start by drawing a ball and adding a jaw. The jaw line on a female will be more rounded typically, although not always. For this one, I tried to keep that egg concept in mind. I drew the lines more smoothly and less squared off than I did before. A quick note about proportions. In this straight-on view of the head, it's about a 2:3 ratio, so the face is longer than it is wide. As we did before, from the top of the skull to the bottom of the chin, split in half, is where we can place the eye line. Then again, with a vertical line down the middle, we can split the head bilaterally to get those crosshairs. You can use the eye line to place the eyes, and use the eyes to visually place the brow line and brows. I found that female brows will tend to have a bit more arch to them. Now I erase the bottom of the circle, and then from the brow line to the bottom of the chin, split in half, is about where the root of the nose will be. We can also place the ears within that measurement from the brow line to the bottom of the nose. And using that same measurement, we can place the top of the forehead, giving us the major thirds of the face. Again, in that bottom third, from the root of the nose to the bottom of the chin, we can separate that section further into thirds. At the first third is the part of the lips, and at the second third is the chin. Then from there, we can add on the hairstyle. Again, remembering that it won't cling directly to the skull, unless of course it's something like a super slick ponytail or a very short buzz cut. Then you can also add the neck, which will tend to be less thick than a male neck. So these are the basic proportions in a front-on view. As the head tilts up and down, things will change due to perspective, but these basics are great to have in your back pocket. Quickly reviewing the side view, we can see the proportions remain. The top third of the face is the forehead to brow line. The middle third is the brow line to the root of the nose. And the bottom third is the root of the nose to the bottom of the chin. Sectioning up that bottom third again, we can see the first third lands at the part of the lips, the second third around where the chin begins to bump back out, and the last third ends at the bottom of the chin. These are general measurements, and can sway one way or the other. But this is truly helpful to practice through, especially if you struggle and can sometimes make things too long or too short. You can get away with other mistakes in drawing, but if the proportions are off and it wasn't a purposeful decision, it will show. Once you get the basic proportions of the face, they'll sort of lodge into your brain and you won't have to rely on diagrams. So check out the class resources if you'd like some more practice on this. People are my favorite subjects to paint, and they always have been ever since I was a young artist. There's just something so special and rewarding about portrait making. I'm Gabrielle Bricky. I'm an artist and teacher, and today we're going to dive into drawing and painting the human portrait. I want to share with you all the little things I keep in the back of my head while creating a piece. You'll learn how to construct a head, the basic proportions of the face, and how to see rhythms we have in our faces that will help us create beautiful flowing images. You'll learn the important anatomical landmarks to look for on the face, and how to break down each feature into basic, easy-to-draw forms. We'll also talk about how we can simplify our portraits so that they'll read well close up, but also from a distance. I'll be using the Procreate app on my iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil for this, and I'll be sharing tips all along the way for using that. But really, this class is for anyone who wants to develop their portrait drawing and painting skills, no matter the medium. When I'm painting portraits, I'm in my happy place. So if you enjoy making portraits too, or if you want to learn more, jump into class and let's get started.